In our headlines this morning, more cleanup from the aftermath of Monday evening's downpour. Here's a video of the church parking lot for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints building at the intersection of South Crowley Road and Ledge Rock Drive. Mud and silt cover parts of the parking lot. Crews have even plowed the mud to the sides of the road, much like a snowbank. On Monday, the water was running across the parking lot and over Crowley Road to a field on the west side. The water did not get into the church building. This homeowner across the road did not want to go on camera, but he says that the water did not get into his house, but it did go underneath the foundation. He and volunteers were out there yesterday afternoon cleaning up mud and debris. He said the 6-foot culvert underneath Crowley Road could not handle all of the water that came so quickly.
Well, it has been 1 year since that massive flooding devastated parts of Yellowstone National Park. Rivers and streams swelled past flood stage as storms dropped upwards of a foot of rain on top of an epic snowmelt. The historic flooding wiped out roads and caused evacuations. The more than 2 million acre wilderness area was shuttered for over a week as officials determined what emergency repairs were needed to allow for a limited reopening. Officials scrambled and worked feverishly for 36 hours to evacuate thousands from the park and conduct damage assessments.
The law enforcement rangers and maintenance crews closed this road before this road collapsed, which undoubtedly saved lives. Had they not closed it, you can see visitors could have very easily driven straight off of this.
After the disaster last summer, an alternative roadway was redesigned and opened in late October, paving the way for a critical tourism and economic comeback in nearby towns. Once water levels came down, it took months of cleanup and lots of work to open things back up. Now, a year later, all of Yellowstone's entrances and roads are currently open.
Yellowstone encompasses more than 2.2 million acres, most of it beyond the reach of roads. Now, yesterday we spoke with people as they entered the west gate. Some suggestions for making the most of your time in the park are tour early in the day to avoid the crowds. Most people tour the park from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Wildlife are most active at sunrise and sunset. Arriving before 8 a.m. improves your chances of seeing animals during their active periods. Park entrance gates are open 24 hours a day. You can also spend time exploring West Yellowstone. The park and West Yellowstone have a lot to offer.
It's a really cool geographical park. The pools are really cool, the mud pots, and the geyser are really cool as well.
Seeing a bear. There's 2 baby bears, but I didn't get to see it.
And those we spoke with said they cannot wait to continue exploring the park. They also said they had a great time learning about the nature in the area.
The summer travel season is expected to be another busy one. Before you take that summer road trip, AAA is reminding us to be prepared with an emergency travel kit in our car. AAA says it is a good practice to have the essentials in case of a breakdown. Things like a first aid kit, a flashlight, extra batteries, water, and a phone charger can help save lives in unexpected situations. AAA also says to replace those items periodically.
You want to be able to be in a position where there's no life and death situation that you need to address right away. So having those basics in mind is so important. First, refreshing that emergency kit, all those medications in there, the ibuprofens and the neosporins or whatever you've got. Those things are all probably expired. They probably have been for years. So we need to own it. We need to look at those things and swap them out.
AAA also suggests sharing travel plans with a trusted friend or family member. That way, someone will know where you are going and when you plan to arrive there in case of emergency.
A Pocatello nurse practitioner has surrendered her license after unlawfully prescribing controlled drugs. Rachel P. Goodman admitted to writing prescriptions for dangerous combinations of drugs to at least one patient. She also admitted to submitting at least one false claim to Medicare. The violation of the Controlled Substances Act and the False Claims Act requires her to pay a $75,000 fine and also surrender her DEA license. The Utah woman accused of killing her husband with fentanyl appeared in court for a detention hearing on Monday.
Details of the case surrounding Corey Richens are still unfolding in court. Criminal defense attorney Clayton Sims was asked to analyze how evidence is framing the defense so far.
When news of this case first broke, startling details were revealed. In one search warrant, it states that Eric's family members say he warned them that if anything happened to him, she was to blame. Corey's defense attorneys say there's no evidence of that, writing, "There has not been a single text message or other document turned over in discovery to support the allegation that Eric ever believed Corey attempted to poison him." Criminal defense attorney Clayton Sims, who's not affiliated with the case, says if that's true, it's important.
What's interesting is you don't have a reaction to that. You don't have anybody taking Eric to the hospital earlier, saying get divorced, leave the house, those kind of things that would be natural if a disclosure about a potential poisoning was made.
Prosecutors also allege Corey bought fentanyl from someone known as CL in court documents that she used to kill Eric. But defense attorneys say that CL faces other criminal charges and has incentive to cooperate with police. They say CL's story has many inconsistencies and that in an interrogation, law enforcement demanded that CL give good enough details that will ensure that Corey gets convicted of murder. Clayton says the new defense documents give new context to the entire case.
Can you say at this point, knowing you've seen these, whether the prosecution has a strong case or not?
Well, not guilty verdicts come when there's questions. You have to have proof beyond a reasonable doubt. When there are questions, that means not guilty verdict.
And there are questions here.
I think there's questions here, definitely.
Now, Richards appeared to wipe tears from her eyes as family members testified against her. She's charged with criminal homicide, aggravated murder, and 3 counts of possession of a controlled substance with the intent to distribute. She will remain in custody while she waits trial. Okay, let's head over to the Weather Center now and check in with Jeff Roper. Jeff, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, we've got the flood alerts that are still out. You get into Teton County, Wyoming, and on over toward Pinedale and back into Butte County. And we've added, we had a flood warning expire there into Clark County yesterday afternoon with some of the rain that was around. But it's going to be a good day for Flag Day because the winds are going to pick up this afternoon, 20 to 40 miles an hour, with a cold front that's going to come through and will shake down some of these temperatures. You can see where some of the rain is around this morning, and a lickety-split look at the wind farm. It's reflecting off of radar this morning just to the east of Idaho Falls, and a few light showers to the south there of Pocatello and on toward American Falls. And we've got that good old Andy Griffith camera in Salmon, black and white, at 55 degrees before we get that inverted video out of here, and 57 in Idaho Falls, where folks are just taking their time. This morning, the winds are out of the south and the west at 10, which is some indication of where we're going to be headed into the day today. Winds begin to pick up. We've got some leftover morning showers. They will dissipate. You'll see some sun a little bit later on, and we've got a wind advisory that kicks in at noon today for portions of the eastern Magic Valley and into the Snake River Plain, and that'll last until about 10 o'clock tonight. So you see, some of us are going to be hovering around 70, close to the upper 60s. It'll be around 73 degrees in IF today and around 67 into Jackson, 71 in Salmon. We're on the hump, Mike, so we're headed to the weekend, and we'll come back and we'll outline Father's Day coming up, Dylan.